Maybe if I wasn't such a self-absorbed asshole, he and I could have... Why do I do this to myself, Ashley?
Oh, Jake, don't say that. You're a great friend. You're a loyal teammate. You have a great personality. I like your jacket. There, see? You're not that bad. Now I realize why the jacket thing is the first thing Ellie ever said to him. But okay, now, I hate it when someone says these things about themselves. If it's someone else in the cast, or literally every single viewer hating on Jake, I mean, it's fine, people say horrible things about him all the time, and statistics show that insulting Jake is currently every human's favorite pastime, but when it's him doing it, it's not really the same thing. It's not as fun anymore. That doesn't really justify his constant bickering with Ellie, and it's also good for him to realize where he went wrong, but I don't really enjoy seeing people hate themselves. I now feel sorry for him. Tom, what have you done? You broke Jake! After Jake's little breakdown on Team Cyan, Therapist Tess finally goes up to Ellie to talk to her about the Villains Alliance, yet the girl keeps lying, denying its existence. Thankfully, Tess takes a stand against her and lets her know Gabby found out all about it from Alec and Rhea, so she now asks her whether winning the game is so important to her that she'd be willing to lose Gabby in the process. And I now have extremely mixed feelings about Ellie, because here she sounded like a dick. She was like, "Oh, I would pick Gabby over $1 million, absolutely, yes. Great, then would you pick her over $3 million too?" The fact that she didn't answer her question, on the one hand, suggests she's horrible because she shouldn't hesitate when asked whether her girlfriend is worth $3 million or not. But on the other hand, her silence could be interpreted as Ellie starting to realize she kinda crossed the line, and that she's now asking herself whether she's been obsessing too much over the money to the point of forgetting how much Gabby even matters to her. And even later in the episode, there's one scene before the campfire ceremony that just yells, "Ellie's horrible," as she gets super excited when she thinks Gabby has an immunity idol to share with her, but instantly loses her interest when she learns that she doesn't have it and doesn't even care to see what Gabby wanted to show her. Yet, when she's at the bus stop after the ceremony, she sounds way more considerate and starts acting like a human being again. It's as if she says one thing, yet her actions imply the complete opposite. Perhaps all this can be explained away by the influence the game has on her, as Tess suspected, so like, as long as Ellie's in it, she's gonna be meaner, ruthless, and heartless, but once she gets booted and she's out of the competition, she goes back to normal and becomes her nicer self again. That's the only explanation I can think of. So let me know your thoughts on Ellie's mood swings. I'm leaning towards the Ellie's a monster theory though. You can't expect me to forget how she behaved with Gabby today. Then we cut over to Yul and Emily talking about the next move in Yul's crusade for popularity as they discuss what Gruelers would like to see from him and Gret. And Gruelers, really? Yeah, no, not even the ship name works. Gruel. It's all just wrong. Everything about the situation is just wrong in every sense of the word. Still, while Emily's trying to force Yul to have a picnic with Gret, she suggests he should let her lick his spicy abs. Nice reference to the Patreon name. Still, the abs thing is where Yul justifiably draws the line. Imagine showing that on international television, so he decides to fire the girl and to give up on winning back his fan support, confident that he can easily win the $3 million prize. And of course, no need for fame when he can have the money. Still, he apparently fails to remember that first, half of the cast doesn't even like him, and second, that he's not even that great in challenges either, so I kinda doubt he's gonna win. And it's so sad when people are this oblivious and overestimate themselves this much. Today, the teams will have to escape a spaceship, which Crystal somehow managed to afford using Trevor's paycheck only. These guys must pay extremely well, and they must reach the escape pods while looking for hidden clues and solving some puzzles. I admit I do love the different setting for the challenge and love how it stands out from the rest, but I'm still bummed we skipped over most of it with the montage because we didn't really see the team solving that many puzzles or finding that many clues. The premise really is intriguing, but it feels like they didn't explore this concept in detail enough. Also, another little issue with the challenge is that, just like in episode 7, despite the challenge being divided into 2 halves, no reward goes to the team who completes the first one first. So what was the point of even finding the clues quickly if the second part of the challenge couldn't start until all 3 teams made it to a specific point? I really hope this doesn't become a recurring thing because it doesn't really help with the tension. Here, we see Rhea advertising her movie, Gabby hoping a little stuffed animal can save her relationship, Crystal agreeing to go out for drinks with Derek, Yoel commenting on Gret's weight once more, and Alec looking after her by messing with the guy, and finally Jake and Ellie bickering just like kids. But thankfully, Mama Ashley knows how to keep her children quiet and in their place by yelling at them to shut them up. She's a great team leader, and I do love it when she's mad. At least someone here is focusing on the challenge at hand. We then get to the second and final part of the challenge, where one person from each team is selected to get to a higher platform and finally meet up with the rest of their teammates. And this part I don't quite understand. Jake, Rhea, and Aiden were literally cooperating and helping each other to get out of there, and I don't get how any of this is supposed to be challenging. I thought for a game like this, these 3 would be fighting one another the entire time, sabotaging each other and getting in each other's way while trying to complete the challenge, but nope. So here they just work together because friendship is great, I guess? Not to mention, after they build the ladder, Rhea goes, "I'm the most famous, so I go first," and neither Aiden nor Jake complain about that, nor do they even try to push Rhea off the ladder, but like, guys, this is a challenge. And then Aiden is like, "I assembled the ladder, so I should go next," and I mean, so what? Do you expect Jake to say, "Oh yeah, sure man, you go first, you deserve it. After all, you assembled the ladder, please after you." No, it's a challenge. So, I don't know, especially because of the Rhea and Aiden conflict, but also because Jake and Aiden aren't on great terms either, I expected these guys to be at each other's throats, fighting for immunity the entire time. So maybe they didn't fight much because, due to what Crystal said at the start of the challenge, they thought they were actually in danger, so they needed to hurry to get out of there, so they decided to cooperate. Still, if that is it, and if they wanted the 3 to believe their lives were actually on the line, then they didn't stress that concept enough. It didn't really feel like they were in danger. Ultimately, Rhea makes it out first, winning her team yet another reward, and then Jake wins his team immunity by sabotaging Aiden. Apparently, he didn't forget when the guy stole his woodpecker in episode 2. Fair is fair, an eye for an eye. So because of this, Skunk Hair comes in last, losing the challenge for Team Cyan, finally sending them to elimination for the first time since episode 3. At the elimination ceremony, because Tess is convinced that staying is just not healthy for Ellie, or for anyone she interacts with for that matter, she decides to vote for her tonight, despite their friendship and their alliance. And thanks to Tom and Aiden also doing the same, Ellie is the 7th boot of the season. This was a good time for her to go, but I just wish she and Gabby had an actual falling out before making up and going back to loving and trusting one another. I don't know, it would have felt more appropriate to see them fight before reconciling. Now, I'm super glad Gabby got to outlast Ellie this season. I did wonder for quite a while how Gabby would behave without Ellie in the game. And apparently we're in for a ride, as the first thing Gabby does after Ellie's elimination is to make a vow to avenge her by getting Aiden, Tom, and Tess eliminated. And it looks like she plans to side with the Villains Alliance, taking Ellie's place in it in order to do it. So honestly, I wouldn't love to see Gabby turn into a full-blown villain, but at the same time, I kinda doubt she will, because after all, this revenge thing is pretty much in line with her character, so they're not doing a drastic change here. If you remember, in season 1, she did hold a grudge for several episodes against Will, Lil, Nick, and Ashley for voting her out in episode 1. So apparently, that's what she does, that's her thing, so I do expect to see more of that instead of her pulling a Rhea. Even in my season 1 review, I told you I wasn't sure the revenge was necessary, but it was pretty entertaining to watch anyway, so I expect the second revenge to be just as intriguing. The thing is, I don't know about you guys, but supportive girlfriend Gabby was a little boring to watch. She was nice and adorable and whatnot, but we can all agree that vengeful, chaotic Gabby is way more interesting. I just love it when she doesn't hold herself back. That's my girl. I'm also crossing my fingers hoping we'll see more of the quote-unquote voice in her head we saw in season 1. That'd be great. In all this, another great thing that could come from Gabby's villain arc is probably her fixing the villains alliance, because, in my opinion, this alliance is kinda useless at the moment. For real, they didn't do anything evil since it was formed. So yes, they got Miriam and Connor eliminated, but it's not like they lied, tricked, deceived, or sabotaged anyone to get their way. They didn't do anything villainous. So they were like any other regular alliance. So I really hope Gabby's finally gonna turn it into an actual threat. I'd love it if she brought up how ineffective their alliance has been so far, telling them all they achieved so far was losing 2 of their members and putting a huge target on their backs. And obviously, the moment the teams merge, the others will instantly want to take them down one by one. However, if they agree to work with her, Gabby can actually help them by working in the shadows. After all, no one would expect her to be aligned with them, so they would have an easier time sabotaging the others. Overall, I'm so curious to see how this thing will evolve, and even how Gabby and Gret will work together in an alliance again after 2 whole years. That might be fun. This whole Gabby revenge arc could either be the most entertaining and unexpected thing of the season, or they could screw it up and ruin Gabby by turning her into an actual villain. With that being said, I just feel like it's worth mentioning how Ellie didn't thank the Patreons at the end of the episode. So since, as we mentioned a few reviews ago, whenever a character returns later in a season, they never thank the Patreons the first time they leave the game, I'm starting to think Ellie might be one of the returning contestants. Hopefully alongside freaking Hunter, who needs to come back because he does. And even though this isn't undeniable proof of her return, as James too didn't thank the Patreons, but only because his voice actor was too busy to do it at the time, I do believe she has decent chances of returning. She is a fan favorite after all, so I can see it. What will she do though? I'm not sure. Probably just cause some more drama, and either become a better person to make Gabby proud, or do her worst and eventually break up with her. I'm not saying I want it to happen, but if it did, I wouldn't be surprised. But those are just my thoughts, so absolutely let me know yours on Gabby's new arc, definitely on the episode, on Ellie, and on her possible comeback. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!